my friends, how are y'all doing? Today is Friday, August 18th, and I am back with my stitching update. Hope you guys have had a wonderful 2 weeks since we last sat down to chat. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. My name is Olivia, and this is my YouTube channel, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today's video, I will be primarily talking about my cross stitching as well as my quilting. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, I hope you will consider sticking around. And if you like what you see, I hope you will hit the subscribe button. However, if you are one of my amazing returning subscribers, welcome back. So before I get into today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who watched my previous video and left me such amazing and uplifting and kind comments. I really appreciate it. And I also want to say a special thank you to all of those who reached out to me via email or on Instagram and Facebook to let me know that you enjoy watching my videos, that you love the content, and that you like me. So I really appreciate that so much, more than you know. Thank you so very much. So I also realized that over the past couple of videos, I have not shown Fred. The last couple of videos, he's been dirty. In this video, he also is very dirty. He's been due for a bath for a couple of days. He'll probably get one tomorrow. But I had a lot of you guys say you missed seeing him, so I thought I would show him really quick. He just happened to pass by me, and I grabbed him. Usually Freddie will let me hold him for however long I want, but whenever the phone is out and it's recording or taking a photo of him, I get 15 seconds. So over the past 2 weeks, I was able to, well, I should say over the past week, I was able to sit down and watch a little bit of Flosstube. During the summer, it's been hit or miss whether I have any Flosstube viewing time. Usually I will go to put one on while I'm sewing or quilting, which I haven't been able to quilt because it's been 8,000 degrees outside, and whatever the outside temperature is, that's what the temperature is where my quilt machine is. So there's been no long arming for the past couple of weeks. But usually that's when I will probably watch the most Flosstube. But when, I'm working inside with, my autumn goods that I've been putting into the shop or stitching or what have you, watching Flosstube is usually hit or miss. I will sit down, turn it on, and usually have to pause it within the first 30 seconds because I almost always get interrupted. Sometimes the TV stays paused for a while. Sometimes I just have to turn it off and come back, which is very frustrating for watching Flosstube. But the Flosstube that I was able to watch was Carol Saltbox Stitcher. She had a new video that came out, I think, last weekend, and I was able to sit down and watch it, and I never miss one of her videos. I absolutely love her. I also was able to watch Helen D. So she had a new video that came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. I watched it yesterday. And then I was able to watch Heidi of Stitching Faye. Love her videos. And of course, I watched Katie So Tattered. She had her third Flosstube video that came out. I was a little bit late to watching it, and I just finished it yesterday. I love her content so much. And then I also was able to start watching Stitching Bunny. So her latest Flosstube came out. It's probably been a little while since it came out. She's probably already posted a new one, but I plan to get back to watching her maybe latest video. I just sat down and I think I got like 5 minutes in and I had to pause it, but all great Flosstube. I will be sure to link them all down below so that you can go and watch them as well. If you have never heard of them, highly recommend them. But yes, I will put a link to their videos down below, and hopefully it's the correct links, because last time when I uploaded my Flosstube video, I had the correct links in there, and somewhere between me uploading it and it coming out, YouTube changed the addresses. So it was very similar to the names, but totally different people. So I was able to go in and fix it right away. Over the past 2 weeks, I returned to my monthly assignments. I like to work on them at the beginning of a new month and kind of get them finished and out of the way, so that way the rest of the month I can sit down and have fun stitching whatever my heart desires. The first assignment was the houses of Pumpkin Hollow, and I am stitching this with Yvette, who on Instagram is Yvette Go. and Becky Socks for Mom. We were working on the second block and I was able to finish it. And here it is. Absolutely love how it turned out. I did have to change some of the house colors. I basically went with the color that it looked like on the chart, and I just tried to match it because the DMC conversion that was listed, the colors were really crazy looking, and the house would it would not have looked good. So I went in, I changed it so that it would better reflect the photo of the chart. And I really love it. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count Heritage by Picture This Plus, and I am using DMC threads, and I'm stitching it 1/2. Love it, love it, love it. Cannot wait until September when we start on the third block, which is a bit of a doozy. And I am going to start down here. Yvette kind of gave us a choice of what we wanted to work on, and before she even said what she was going to do, I told her that I would probably do this. So we basically all ended up picking the bottom without the other ones knowing that that's what we were going to do. So looking forward to working on that. And what I will do in the description box, I will list the DMC that I used on the house. I did not bring that with me today. I kind of forgot about it because I've been working on the block for the past 4 months. And by the time I got done with it, I just completely forgot to grab that information. So I will put the changes that I made down below in the description if you are interested. When I was setting houses to the side just now, I noticed that I'm missing 2 stitches in the tree. So I will need to go and fix that before I put it away. My next project is Elizabeth Furness 1836 by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. And I am stitching this with Yvette, Becky, which Yvette on Instagram is Yvette Go, Becky Socks for Mom, and Christy Crosshatch Quilts. And I think our assignment, if I remember right, was to do a little bit of the grass down here, some of the border. I feel like there might have been a basket, but that could have been the month before. And I can't believe I've already forgotten because I was working on this last week. But here she is. So I'm stitching Elizabeth on a piece of 40 count Bee's Knees by Seraphim Fabrics, and I am using DMC threads, and I'm stitching her 1/2. Love working on this piece so much. She's so gorgeous. I really enjoyed seeing her slowly unfold, and cannot wait to get back to her in September. So I think in September we actually have quite a bit more that we're going to be stitching. I know that that square that's down there, we're going to fill that in. And then there's 2 pots and some of the border that we'll be stitching. So there's quite a bit more than what we have been doing, and I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait. Oh, she's so beautiful. Love, love, love. So I'm looking forward to getting back to her in September. On the 13th of August, I worked on Jack's Bash by Plum Street Samplers. So I'm stitching this with Katie of So Tattered. And we work on Jack on the 13th and the 31st of the month. And if there's not a 31st, then the last day. And it has been so much fun to work on. So I was able to sit down Sunday late afternoon and pick this up and work on it. So I got a little bit farther than what I probably normally would have. But I absolutely love the progress. I love the linen. I love the threads. I think everything just plays really well together. So I'm stitching Jack's Bash on a piece of the 36 count Grandma Slip by XJU Designs. And I am stitching it with called for threads 1/2. And I love working on this one. So glad that she decided to work on it with me. Love it. And there's a lot of you guys who have also picked up Jack's Bash and joined us. So it's so fun seeing everyone's progress and just the fun you're having working on this piece. So awesome. So I think the last time I had the kind of this corner flower done, the haunted house, and then the rest I was able to get done on Sunday. So this one I will pick back up on the 31st of August, and I cannot wait. And because I finished all of my assignments for the month of August, I had the choice of either spinning the wheel or going back to work on Halloween at Hollyberry Farms. And I chose to work on Halloween at Hollyberry Farms. This one just calls to me. I can't stop. I just constantly feel the pull and the need to work on this one. So I think the last time I showed it, I had got all of the white of the house done, and I had started to fill in the windows, and I had like maybe one or two of the windows not filled in, but I did not have the roof done. So I think I've worked on this 2 evenings, and I was able to get the roof done, and the whole house is now complete. And I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. It was so fun taking it out of the Q-snap this morning and seeing how far I had come, and just that big, beautiful house right in the middle. I just love it. So I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count 18th century rook by R&R Reproductions, and I'm stitching it with the called for threads. I'm stitching it 1/2, which is 1 strand of thread over 2 linen threads. Love it so much. Oh my goodness, that house is just everything. So I finished the house, and then I started working on the lanterns below it last night, and I started on the cat, and that was as far as I got before I had to stop so I could go to sleep. But I love working on it so much, and I'm already looking forward to working on it tonight. So I've just kind of told myself, you know, there's still not quite 2.5 weeks left of the month, 2 weeks left of the month. And I'm just going to work on this. And if I feel like I need to just kind of take a break for a couple of days, I'll spin my wheel and work on whatever it tells me. But I really would like to get this project done before the end of summer. The goal is to have it done before October. And, you know, I don't have that much more to go. So it's a very real likelihood that I will be able to get this finished very soon. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, I love it. Love it, love it. I did have a finish over the past 2 weeks, and that was Spooky Countdown by the Primitive Hare. So I stitched this on a piece of 36 count Jack-o'-lantern by XJU Designs, and I stitched it with the called for DMC threads 1/2. And I am ecstatic to have it finished. In my last video, I was working on the bottom part, and I just had a little ways left to go. And I was able to, I think I had it done by the time the video came out on Saturday. It was done. So really, really happy to have this one done. I did want to try to get it fully finished for today's video, but with the weather being so outrageously hot, working out in the pit of despair is a no-go, especially since the tree that shaded it for part of the day was cut down, and it's just absolutely sweltering out there now. So I have not been able to do anything. But really, really happy to have it done, and I do hope to get it fully finished really, really soon. So because we finished Spooky Countdown, and because Yvette had picked, because we've been taking turns, Yvette and I have been taking turns on picking what we work on, either Halloween or fall themed. Yvette had picked Spooky Countdown, so it was my turn to pick, and I decided that we need to work on Casting a Spell by Blackbird Designs, and I've had this one kitted for a couple of years, just kind of looking for a really good opportunity to work on it. So I decided this is the one we need to. And she told me that I have to arrange the assignments, and I'm torn between doing 2 blocks a month or just doing 1, or you know, how I want to break it up. So I do need to decide that before the end of the month. So I think in my next video I won't have started this, but definitely in the following one I should have this one started. So looking forward to it. So over the past 2 weeks, I was able to do a little bit of retail therapy. I was on Instagram, and Katie of So Tattered posted a new star on a project, and the linen she was using was called Ween Beans, and I loved the look of it. I loved it so much that I went and I tracked it down and was able to find it on Etsy or from an Etsy shop called Hollis Hands Create, and she also does do Flosstube as well. So this is what Ween Beans looks like. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Oaken by Picture This Plus. And I also really like the name Ween Beans. And of course, you know, when I read it, my middle school brain went weenie beanies. But it's an absolute beautiful piece of linen. It is dyed by Needle Blink Designs, and I really do love her linen a lot. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Right now it's just going to go into the stash. I don't have a huge stash, so it's kind of nice to just sort of tuck something away for a future project. And then I got the opportunity to go up to Acorns and Threads. We just happened to be 2 miles from there, and when my husband first said that we needed to go up to Beaverton, it didn't compute that we would be within the vicinity of Acorns and Threads. And so he was actually the one that said, you know, do you want to go to your cross stitch shop? And of course, I haven't been there since, I think, 2021. They are about 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on traffic, away from me. So I don't get up that way very often, especially not on that side of Portland, Beaverton. I usually, if I go to Portland, I'm going to the opposite side and going around Portland. But it was a lot of fun to go there. I haven't been since they added the annex, so it's a little bit bigger, but just full of just wonderful eye candy. So this particular chart that I purchased, I've actually had it for about a month. I placed the order from Acorns and Threads. I called them up to ask if they had it in stock, and they didn't, so they ordered it for me. And when it came in, I just had to mail it. But it is by the Stitching Parlor, and it's called Persuasion. And I have been watching Lisa Kindred Stitcher work on this particular piece. It is a sampler that was done by the Stitching Parlor. She did a whole Jane Austen series. So Persuasion is one of the Jane Austen books. It's one of my favorites. Absolutely love it. And when I saw Lisa working on it, I just absolutely fell in love. She is almost finished. I mean, she's got like this whole area done, and it looks absolutely amazing. So because I was going up there, I decided to pick up some linen for it, and I decided on a piece of 40 count linen by Weeks Dye Works, and this is what it looks like. So I didn't have any cream. A lot of my linen is, you know, very similar to Ween Beans. It's all very more of like dark, primitive. And I wanted Persuasion to be on something that was more cream. So I picked up the linen for that. And then I got the rest of the threads. I think I had about half, and I was able to get the rest of the threads. So this is what they look like. I know it's not the best display of them. I don't have it on a ring, but that's the threads. So I am excited to start working on that. I decided I wanted to try to set a date, and I think I want to try to work on it sometime this month and just get it started and get it on the wheel and just kind of work on it whenever the wheel tells me to, or whenever I feel like working on it. But I can't wait to get started. And then my husband was standing next to me when I was looking at the rack of the Stitching Parlor charts, because she did a whole series, like an adaptation or a sampler kind of dedicated to each book or to some of the books. I have decided that at some point I will stitch all of her Jane Austen inspired samplers. And I also was looking at they had a rack of all of the different Stitching Parlor charts. And I was looking at the Pemberley one, and my husband saw this one. So, and he really liked it. And since I was already planning on at some point purchasing the rest of the charts and stitching this one anyway, I decided to go ahead and get it. And that is Fanny's Treasure, which is based on Mansfield Park. So I cannot wait to start working on this one. If they would have had a piece of linen that was the right size, I probably would have picked up the linen. So at some point down the road, when I come across some cream linen, I will get it for this one. And I'd also like to see when I finish Persuasion how much of those threads are left over, because a lot of them are charted for this one too. So I love it, love it. Love the whole series. I would have come home with Pemberley, but as soon as he saw that one, I thought I'll get that one first and work on it. But I love them. Stitching Parlor is completely new to me. I'd never heard of them before. I'm not sure how many charts that she has available, but based on the ones that I saw just in that little area of the Jane Austen one, they're all gorgeous. So I can't wait. When we were at the drive-through, because we picked up lunch on the way home, I noticed that there's some flowers on the side, and they're done in a spider web stitch, and it makes the roses. And I've never done anything fancy like that before, so I'm really looking forward to trying my hand at it, because I've seen a lot of, you know, different cross stitch designs that have those sort of three-dimensional flowers, and I've always been really curious about, you know, trying it and seeing what they look like. So I'm looking forward to learning how to do that type of a stitch when I get to it. Before I forget, Acorns and Threads does have an online shop where you can go and purchase charts and linen and thread. So I will put a link to their shop down below, and I hope that the next time I go up there, it's not such a long time in between, because on the way home, I was trying to think how long it had been since I had been up there, and I want to say it was March of either 21 or 22. I have a feeling it was March of 22, so it's been a year and a half since I've been up there. And I hope the next time I go, I can just kind of take some time to just kind of look through everything. We just had a little bit of time before we had to head back home, and so I didn't get to really explore, but it was so much fun going up there, and I really need to make sure that I make a little bit of an effort to fight the traffic and go up there a lot more. So over the past 2 weeks, the Fat Quarter Shop sent a box that has items that are available now on the Fat Quarter Shop's website, and I will put a link to their website down below. The first is a pattern called Upbeat by It's So Emma. Very pretty. Next is Edna from the Chicken Club, that is designed by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. And my grandma used to have a friend named Edna, and I remember she was a hoot. I think she passed away a couple of years ago. She lived to be in her late 90s, and you would never know that that's how old she was. She definitely had a very young soul. The next is You Are My Sunshine cross stitch by It's So Emma. And then another cross stitch, Stackables July by It's So Emma. Very nice. And then Seasonal Stitchy Stars. These are table runners designed by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. Very pretty. And then they sent me some new project bags. This one is Mad for Plaid project bag in pumpkin. And I love these bags. I have quite a few that I use, and I do love them. And then I have one in lilac. So these must be like their fall colors. And burlap. So much fun. So thank you so very much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending those items my way. And I will put a link to the Fat Quarter Shop's website down below if you are interested in checking any of those items out for yourself. Well, my friends, as far as all of the cross stitching goes, that is all I have to show and share for today's video. If you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very much, but I am going to start talking about quilts next. So if that's not something you're interested in seeing, this is a great stopping off point. And as always, I thank you for stopping by today. Really quickly, the plan for me will to be back in 2 weeks. I hope that you will come back in 2 weeks to see what I have been working on. But now, quilts. Okay, so let's talk about quilts. So first of all, I want to say thank you for all of the kind comments you guys left me on my spangled quilt. Had a lot of you guys ask where you could get the pattern, and in every single video, and even in every single post I post on Instagram, somewhere, or Facebook, somewhere, the information is there. Whether I just type it out directly, like I do for these videos down in the description box. If it's the first time I'm sort of showing it, it will be down somewhere in the information. If it's one that's sort of in the background, it's usually like in the hashtag, or even in the beginning, you know, I'll say, oh, the spangled quilt, or, you know, something about the spangled quilt. So I've had a lot of people ask, you know, where can they get the pattern? And you can get them all over the place. I've seen them everywhere. But where my pattern came from was the Fat Quarter Shop. And they sell a paper pattern and a PDF download that you can get. It's a very fun quilt. I absolutely love it. Thank you to everybody for all of your wonderful comments. I think this quilt is just perfect for this time of the year. It's got all of the colors, especially in our area. These are kind of the colors. When the sun is out and when it's not, you know, hazy with smoke, or, you know, or the flowers haven't got cooked from the 110-degree weather. These are typical like August, September colors. So I absolutely love the quilt. It was a blast to put together. Highly recommend. I would not say it's beginner friendly. Definitely would say it's more of an intermediate or an advanced beginner. So I would say to definitely get a couple quilts under your belt, work with half square triangles, work with small pieces, and then give this one a try, you know, after you've kind of, you know, got the feel of that process, because there's a lot of little pieces and, you know, it's a lot of fun. So, you know, I definitely highly encourage, if you're at all interested in making one for yourself, I would highly encourage you to do so. But if you are a brand new quilter, I would tell you to just kind of hold off, make a couple of other quilts first, get a little familiar with the quilt making process, and then attack this one. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you for all of the wonderful comments. Before I show you my Civil War tribute quilt progress, I did start a new quilt. In this room, on that wall, there is a wooden quilt hanger, and I wanted to make a smaller autumn quilt that would fit there. And I've had this pattern for a year or two. My friend Tina sent it to me when she was done making hers, and it is called Fly Blackbird. And it is designed by Barb Voss of Country Sampler. And I checked the other day, and you can still get this pattern from the Country Sampler. And I will put I'll put a direct link to this pattern down below in the description box. I was able to make all of the blackbirds, because I think you make 12 blackbirds. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, you make 12 blackbirds. And the way that they have them, here's what the whole quilt looks like. So they have 4 birds that are pointing one way, and then the rest are pointing the other. The directions that I have don't have the directions for the 4 that point the other way. So I had to open up the pattern, look at the way that they had it laid out, and then flip it and look at it backwards. And that's how I was able to figure it out. But here is one, and I have all 12 done, but I only grabbed 2 of them. So this is one of the ones that point that way, and then this one points the other way. So I'm using all Civil War reproduction fabric from my stash. And yesterday when I was watching Katie of So Tattered, she had said that she's worried that because Civil War reproduction fabric used to be really popular, And like all the shops that were here, the ones that were open at the time, they used to carry a lot of them, and I'm seeing it less and less. So I too, because she had mentioned that she was worried that when some of these reproduction designers retire, there's not going to be any more Civil War reproduction. And that's a fear I have too, because I absolutely love this fabric. I love the colors. I love everything about it. And I also am worried that as these designers retire, there's going to be less and less reproduction around, and that would be really sad because it's my favorite fabric. And I'm hoping that some new designers will, come out and they'll start reproducing more Civil War reproduction. So if you like the color palette, I definitely would encourage you, to go and buy it, because the more demand there are for it, the more that the companies will look for designers to design. But I thought, since I don't have the pumpkins done, I would just show you the color pool. So again, these are all scrappy, or these are, so I'm doing mine scrappy out of Civil War reproduction fabrics, and these are from my stash. So hopefully over the next couple of days, I can start working on the pumpkins. Basically, I have everything cut out. I just have to do the half square triangles that each pumpkin has. And then once I do that, I'll be able to sort of stack them up and then assembly line as I have time. Now, Civil War tribute. So I showed the last couple of blocks, and a lot of you guys sent me messages telling me that one of the blocks up in the corner was pointing the wrong direction. And I had already discovered that when I was doing the video. I went to set it aside, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw that it was wonky. And I had had so many problems with that quilt block, that center medallion. It was the biggest pain in the you-know-what of a quilt block that I have ever done. I mean, it's beautiful and it looks great, but I have never had so many issues with one block as I did with that one. But I got it done, and I got all of the blocks assembled together. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't done the 3 outer borders. So there's 2 that are a fabric, and then the very outside one is half square. And I have not got those cut and assembled, but here is what the quilt looks like. So I have all of this assembled. And the funny thing was, it went together no problem. Every single block turned out to be the size it needed to be, which I was very happy about that, considering that, I had no idea how they were going to go together. I didn't know the sizing. It went together absolutely no problem. It is humongous, so I'm going to try my best to show it. I don't know that I will insert a picture of it at the end of the video, just because when they get to this point, I don't like to handle them too much until I get the borders put on. And then what I do is, when all the borders are on, I do a basting stitch around the whole thing to kind of hold it all together, keep it from fraying and all that. So I don't like to handle it too much until it gets those final touches on. But here it is. So again, it's not gonna, you're not gonna be able to see it in its entirety, but love it. I think it looks so good. Absolutely love it. I'm so very, very blessed that Regina sent it to me. It was one of those unicorn quilts that, I had saw in a local quilt shop, but at the time I couldn't justify doing it as a block of the month. And of course, like all things, it went away and I regretted it. So it's just really gorgeous, and I feel bad that it's not really showing up very well, but here it is. So I love it. Love it, love it. And I did fix the center medallion because, like I said, I noticed it when I set it to the side. I said some sentence enhancers because I just had such a hard time getting that block together. Well, my friends, as far as everything goes, that is all I have to show and share in today's video. So if you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very much. And as usual, the plan for me will be to be back in 2 weeks, which will put us at the beginning of September. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your August. If you would like to see what I am up to in between my videos, you can find me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put a link to both of those places down below. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will either answer them directly or answer them in my next video. And as always, thank you so very much for stopping by today. I hope you have a great 2 weeks. Bye-bye.